Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Spruce Sports Central. Today, we're going to be going over my Week 6 UFL predictions. So last week, I had a terrible record going 0-4, and that brings my record on the season to a brutal 9-11. But hopefully, I can do a lot better this week. So kicking things off with the game we have on Friday, we have the Renegades at the Battlehawks. And we'll have a live watch party for this game starting at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, so I hope to see you guys there. This is a huge game. Both these teams currently sit at 3-2 and are tied for the second playoff spot in the USFL conference. Now, the Renegades won the first meeting 30-15, and if the Renegades win here, not only will they be up a game on the Battlehawks, but they'll also have swept the season series, and head-to-head record is the first tiebreaker in the UFL. But the Renegades, they're coming off a tough loss to the Defenders, and the Battlehawks, they get a much-needed win over the Panthers. The Battlehawks offense played well last week, scoring 32 points, and on the season, they're actually leading the UFL, scoring 23.8 points per game. The Battlehawks also really leaned on the run game last week with 27 rush attempts compared to just 13 pass attempts. And the Battlehawks, they have a very good run game, leading the UFL with 146 rushing yards per game. Now, the Battlehawks offense faces a Renegades defense that is second best in the UFL, allowing just 16 points per game. Although last week the Renegades really struggled, allowing 37 points, which is the most any team has allowed yet this season. But the Renegades, while their defense struggled last week, they've been good on the season, and they're also very good against the run, allowing just 87.8 rushing yards per game. Then on the flip side, the Renegades offense is playing well, scoring 23.2 points per game, which ranks 4th, and they match up against a Battlehawks defense that is solid, allowing 19.8 points per game. Although the Battlehawks could be without star defensive end Peter Tamanapenu, who is 5th in the league with 3.5 sacks. But this is a really tough game to predict, and this is a game that can definitely go either way. I don't think this game will be as one-sided as their first meeting, which was a 15-point game, although that game was a lot closer than the final score suggests. But the Battlehawks, they're at home. Their offense is looking a lot better with Max Duggan now comfortable under center. They've also got Hakeem Butler back from injury. And I'm going to take the Battlehawks to get the win in a great game, 24-21. But this is a game very tough to predict and can truly go either way. Moving to the game we have on Saturday, and that is the Showboats at the Roughnecks. And this is an interesting game. This is also a big game for the Roughnecks because they're 2-3, and they're only one game behind the Panthers and Stallions for a playoff spot in the USFL conference. And this is an even bigger game for the Roughnecks when you factor in the Panthers have a tough matchup against the Defenders. So a big opportunity for the Roughnecks this week. But this is a rematch of a game we saw in Week 3, and in that game the Roughnecks won 18-17, although both these teams are much different now than they were then. For the Showboats, they'll be continuing to start Dresser Wynn at quarterback after he played really well in his first professional start last week and led the Showboats to their first win of the season. In the Showboats offense, they looked good with a season-high 24 points, and the Showboats offense gets even better this week as star receiver Dawood Davis is back from injury and set to make his season debut. And last season, Dawood Davis was the team's leading receiver with 446 yards and 5 scores. Now, the Showboats offense faces a Roughnecks defense that is pretty good, as last week they held the Brahmas to just 3 points, and they're actually third best in the UFL, allowing just 17 points per game. Then on the flip side, the Roughnecks offense will be starting Jalen McClendon at quarterback for the second straight week, and he played well last week as the Roughnecks scored a season-high 27 points. The Roughnecks offense, they face the Showboats defense that's solid, although it doesn't have the best numbers on the season, as the Showboats are allowing 21.6 points per game, which is second worst in the UFL. But this is another game that can definitely go either way. I think this is going to be a pretty good game, and a lot better than when these teams squared off the first time. But I'm going to take the Roughnecks to get the win. I think they're the better overall team. They've got the slightly better defense, plus they're home. And I've got the Roughnecks in a pretty entertaining game, 26-22. Moving to the games we have on Sunday, beginning with the Panthers hosting the Defenders. So this is a big game, and I think this is going to be a great game. The Defenders currently have the best record in the UFL, sitting at 4-1, and the Panthers are one of 4 teams sitting right behind them at 3-2. The Defenders are coming off a huge comeback win over the Renegades, and the Panthers are coming in off a tight loss to the Battlehawks. Offensively for the Panthers, they're great. They're second best in the UFL, scoring 23.6 points per game, and they have finally done away with their 2 quarterback system, and instead of playing Bryce Perkins and Danny Etling, now they're only playing Bryce Perkins, which is definitely the right decision. But the Panthers offense, they're actually really good, and they have the second best passing offense and rushing offense in the UFL. Although the Panthers offense gets a tough test as they face a Defenders defense that is great, allowing 19 points per game. Although last week they struggled, allowing 33 points, 27 became the first half. Then on the flip side, the Defenders offense is also great, as they're third in the UFL, scoring 23.4 points per game. And the Defenders actually have the number one passing offense in the UFL, and quarterback Jordan Teamu leads the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns. As so far this season, Teamu has thrown for 1,213 yards and 9 touchdowns, and that averages out to a league high 242 yards per game. But the Defenders' offense, they face the Panthers' defense that is also pretty good, allowing 19.4 points per game. And the Panthers are actually the second best defense against the pass, allowing just 152 passing yards per game. But this is a really tough game to predict, and this is going to be a great game. We have two great offenses, the two MVP frontrunners at the moment with Jordan Teamu and Bryce Perkins, and both teams are also pretty good defensively. But this is a really tough game to predict, but I want to take the Panthers to get the win. They're at home, they've been playing well. Even though they lost last week, they still played pretty well. And I trust Bryce Perkins a little bit more than I trust Jordan Teamu, so I'm going to take the Panthers to win an entertaining game 27-24, but this is another game can definitely go either way. And our final game, also on Sunday, we've got the Brahmas at the Stallions. So this is actually a rematch of last year's championship game, although neither team looks quite as good this season. For the Brahmas, they've really struggled as they're just 1-4 and coming off a 27-3 blowout loss to the Roughnecks. And the Stallions, they're still good at 3-2, although they don't look quite as good as they have in past seasons. The Stallions, they've also been extremely banged up throughout this season. And speaking of injuries for the Stallions, third-string quarterback Case Cookus will get the start again, as their top two quarterbacks, Alex Magoo and Matt Corral, both remain out and without a timetable for their return. But Cookus gets the start again for the Stallions, and he was decent last week, although I do think he will start to improve as he gets more playing time because he was their third-string quarterback. But the Stallions' offense hasn't been great so far this season, scoring 17 points per game, which ranks 5th in the UFL, but they match up against a terrible Brahmas defense that is worst in the UFL by a lot, allowing 26 points per game. Then on the flip side, the Brahmas offense also isn't great, as they're the worst scoring offense in the UFL, scoring just 13.6 points per game. And the Brahmas actually have a decision to make at the quarterback position, as Kellen Mond has started all 5 games for the Brahmas, but he was benched midway through last week's game in favor of Jarrett Guarantano, and the Brahmas are yet to name a starting quarterback for this week's game. If it was up to me, and I was the Brahmas, I would start Kellen Mond. He's one of the most talented players in the UFL. He just hasn't been able to put it all together. So I would stick with him. Plus, I just don't really think Jarrett Guarantano is that good. But the Brahmas offense faces the Stallions defense that is best in the UFL, allowing 15.8 points per game. But I'm going to take the Stallions to get the win here. I think they're the much better team. The Brahmas, they're just terrible on both sides of the ball. And I've got the Stallions winning this game pretty easily by a score of 23-10. But those are my Week 6 UFL predictions. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible. Be sure to check out the community tab of my channel, where you guys can vote on who you think will win this week's games. That's all for this video. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.